The hits just keep on coming for Hollywood. And we're not talking about box office hits. We're talking about bottom line hits. We're going to talk about Warner Brothers Discovery taking a massive $9.1 billion write-down. Man, they are burning down. Warner Brothers is burning down. I have to wonder, like, are they going to wind up getting sold off to another company? There's been rumors of Warner Brothers is getting sold. They've tried to stand on their own. They were being propped up before by AT&T, and before that, they were propped up by Time Warner. And they've been selling everything that isn't nailed down. They've been shutting down Rooster Teeth. They closed the Cartoon Network studios. I don't know what's going on with all these projects they announced, but it's not looking good. Right, it's really not looking good for them. So let's talk about this, man. Not to be outdone by Disney. Disney's stock's actually dropping today too because people realize that Disney doesn't have much going for them either, other than Deadpool and Wolverine. This has come from Deadline. Warner Brothers Discovery takes a massive $11.2 billion write-down. Oh man, in write-down in charges in Q2 after losing the NBA. So, yeah, let's definitely talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, Geeky's sitting this one out. Also, check out the audio podcast versions of Clownfish TV and D-Rez wherever you find podcasts. We're really trying to push people over there just in case YouTube gets really, really weird. And I got a feeling that YouTube is going to get really, really weird in the next year or so, leading up to the election and the Mr. Beast stuff going on right now. Kind of reminds me of what went down with PewDiePie. I think there are going to be some new guidelines in place, and I think it could penalize smaller channels. Just a feeling I have. So make sure you're subscribed, and make sure you subscribe to the podcast as well. So yeah, Warner Brothers Discovery taking a hefty non-cash impairment charge, according to Deadline, a write-down of $9.1 billion as its networks division, to align with the book value of its linear TV business, to align that with the reality of uncertain advertising and sports rights renewals as the NBA is set to move on. They're going to Amazon. The value of the linear assets when Discovery and Warner Media merged 2.5 years ago was significantly higher than it is now as consumers migrated and advertising dipped. That's across the industry. A difference with David Zaslav and Warner Brothers versus other big media companies is that it lost a lucrative basketball package to Amazon. Warner Brothers had matching rights and is suing the NBA to get the games back, but no one seems to think it can prevail. Zaslav had indicated early in the renewal process the company didn't absolutely need the NBA, but the lawsuit calls the loss a massive blow, which can't make investors feel great. But they already had problems before this. The goodwill impairment was triggered in response to the difference between market cap and book value and continued softness in the U.S. linear advertising market. It's a little limp. Warner Brothers can't get it up anymore. And uncertainty related to affiliate and sports rights renewals, including the NBA. Warner Brothers also reported another $2.1 billion of pre-tax acquisition-related amortization of intangibles, content fair value step-up and restructuring expenses, but didn't elaborate. It's a complicated moment for Warner Brothers with the stock down 70% from the merger. And investors calling for action like breaking the company up again. Yeah, that was a discussion they had a couple of weeks ago. I think we did a video on that they were talking about breaking Warner Brothers up into smaller companies. I don't think that's going to work either. Warner Brothers has always been propped up with another company, right? Most of these movie studios were always propped up with other companies' money. And Warner Brothers, at least for the last 30 years, it's always had a sugar daddy, and AT&T didn't want it. So they scraped the Warner Brothers off the bottom of their shoes. They merged it with Discovery. They put David Zaslav in charge of the whole thing. And now it's just all burning down. It's a mess, guys. It's a huge mess. They should just sell to Amazon and call it a day. Because I think that's probably what's going to wind up happening before it's all said and done. I think somebody will buy Warner Brothers. Maybe Netflix, maybe Amazon, but it's going to be a tech company because they're about the only game in town now that has the kind of money to bankroll it, right? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they were owned by a tech company. You know, AOL, Time Warner, AT&T. So yeah, I could see it happening. They said the company may be considering asset sales, including of its games business, according to the Financial Times. So they might sell off the video game division. Shares are down about 6.5% after the close, as mostly the numbers fell short of Wall Street forecasts. Wow, the write-downs were the biggest news in the second quarter earnings report, which on the plus side saw a nice bump in streaming ad revenue. Never mind that $9.1 billion write-off. No, we got a little bit of a bump. We had some subs. Yeah. It said total DTT sales fell 6%, and losses widened to $170 million from $3 million in the 2023 quarter. Yeah, and that is an insignificant amount of money compared to the $9.1 billion that they wrote off. Studios face tough comps from last year, not on the film slate, but in games as well, because last year they had Hogwarts Legacy. Theatrical revenue rose 19%. Primarily due to higher home entertainment revenue from Dune 2 and Godzilla and Kong, New Empire, which I did not care for, sorry. I thought it was like a video game. Yeah, they said studio profit fell to 24%. Fell 24%. Wow. Networks revenue and profit both fell 8% to $5.2 billion and nearly $2 billion. Distribution revenue fell 8%. Driven by a 9% decrease in domestic linear pay TV subscribers, advertising declined 9%. XFX, primarily driven by domestic networks, and audience declines of 13%. Oh my God. Total WBD revenue of $9.7 billion was down 6%. And here we go. This is the official statement from David Zaslav. Don't fire me, bro. Warner Brothers Discovery, our top priority is our global direct-to-consumer business, and we're extremely pleased with the growing momentum we are seeing, as demonstrated by another strong quarter of growth with 3.6 million net adds fueled by our ongoing international expansion and investment in high-quality, diverse entertainment. In light of industry headwinds, we have and will continue taking bold steps like reimagining our existing linear partnerships and pursuing new bundling opportunities with the goal to get Max on the devices of more consumers faster and at a fraction of the acquisition cost. Honestly, at this point, they would have been better off just dumping the Warner Brothers stuff onto Netflix and calling it a day. All these studios went broke chasing streaming. We're seeing clear evidence that these and other actions we're taking will help drive segment profitability in the second half of the year and into 2025. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think it's, I can't think of any like major, they have Beetlejuice coming out this fall. I can't think of any like major releases. Anonymous says, headline Monday morning, Zaz receives a $10 million bonus. Lot Watcher, how is this man still employed? He's going to kill Warner Brothers and a huge section of town along with it. Wow. Disney should be praised for how quickly they fired Chapek. Warner Brothers' historic fall under Zaslav's leadership is a train wreck that everyone's watching but no one's offering any help to, says Anonymous in the comments. How's that Disney stock under Iger Einstein? Yeah, it's true. Disney stock not doing too good either. So this has come from MovieWeb 4 hours ago. Hashtag don't stream on Max trends as Warner Brothers quietly releases bad news. So one of the most damning revelations from their Q2 earnings call was that the company has had to devalue some of its major linear networks, including Food Network, Discovery, CNN, HGTV, TBS, TNT, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and several more channels. This results in a $9.1 billion goodwill impairment charge, which writes off so-called worthless, intangible assets. So they spell it out a little bit clearer than they did on Deadline. Deadline said it was all about the NBA. They're saying no. Their channels, including Cartoon Network, including CNN, are worthless, intangible assets. So they have all this crap that they accumulated that they can't do anything with. According to Variety, this non-cash pre-tax figure comes after an asset reevaluation that account for the difference between the fair value and the book value of the networks. Basically, none of this shit's worth anything, and they've lost the NBA too. While it's been a consistently popular hashtag, don't stream on Netflix has begun the trend today with a variety. Don't stream on Netflix. This is don't stream on Max. They said a variety of television fans lamenting how the Warner Brothers Discovery merger and the leadership of Zaslav has affected their favorite programming. Yeah, it's don't stream on Max, dude. People have taken to social media to post and repost the below image. This is Adopt Our Crew hashtag. As Warner Brothers Discovery holds their earnings call today, we're highlighting some of the poor decisions that have taken place under Zaslav. Canceled 8 shows in 2024, reducing Max's slate of original programming while introducing a price hike to coincide with the premiere of House of the Dragon. Pushed showrunners for shorter seasons with uncertainty about the writers' rooms. That's all across the board right now. Basically, a season is 8 episodes, 6 episodes. It used to be 16 to 24 episodes. Now it's like 8. They began delisting video games published through Adult Swim and announced the shuttering of Boomerang streaming service. Yes, we covered that. Likely to result in further delisting of animated classics. Well, we have Me TV Tunes, right? Laid off nearly 1,000 Warner Brothers employees 1 week after a round of layoffs at CNN, while his own compensation rose nearly 27%. Yeah, that's pretty shit. Even The Boys over on Prime Video took a swipe at HBO Max. Wow. Last month, Deadline reported longtime media analyst Jessica Rafe Ehrlich today begged Warner Brothers to do anything from selling the company to selling assets to finding a streaming joint venture or a merger. Since the Discovery merger, their stock has declined by 70%. Something's got to give. Yeah. It's not looking too good, guys. I think if you're working for any part of Warner Brothers, whether it's DC Comics or Cartoon Network or video games division, whatever, keep your resume updated because it's not looking good. It's really not looking good. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.